This morning we will discuss ways to eradicate craving completely. No matter what that craving is, if you just understand it, it will evaporate. It's like watching kids that misbehave in a classroom. If the children know you're watching, looking directly at them, they won't start turning to each other and snickering and passing notes. At least that's the way it was in the old days before text messages were a thing. Or it's like the guy in the bar who is making trouble, but he sees the bouncer looking over at him, and he realizes, I better watch my tone because things could go sour really quickly. And if you just watch before he gets too plastered to be able to respond appropriately, then you've done your job. Well, it's like that with cravings. Buddha says you suffer because you cling. Second noble truth. Attachment is clinging, and it means holding on to something. So how do we do that? How do we beat that permanently, and no matter what it is? Shout out to Babylon Coffee here in North Richland Hills, Texas. They make a really good coffee to start the morning. It's simple. In order to eradicate all craving, regardless of how bad the craving is, you simply understand it by understanding both sides of it. Somebody wants to have a Bugatti or a Lamborghini, but on the other side of that is someone who definitely doesn't want it. Someone on one side of an issue wants a beautiful girl. And that same beautiful girl on the other side, there's somebody who's sick of sleeping with her. The same thing with fame, TikTok star status, which appears to be sweeping the world. This crazy TikTok nonsense that's going around. People want it really bad, but then others are repulsed by it. Which is the right way to be? The answer is to understand that you are both the wanter and the wanted. You are the one who wants it and the one who doesn't want it, because each one creates the other. So in order to want, for instance, drugs of any variety or type, or food of any variety or type, you have to run ahead in your mind and visualize, while being empty and wanting, I am also full, because the you that is going to be full is coming after the meal, and you're going to regret usually eating, or at least overeating. And if that's the case, then neither wanting nor not wanting should be a big deal if you can understand the issue properly. Somebody's got to be wanting, and somebody's got to be having. Somebody has the product to sell, and someone doesn't have it and wants it. Well, why can't I be both? You be both by understanding it. Once I have the product, I won't want it anymore. But if I don't want the product now, then the product isn't valuable. So you create a space in your mind, a safe space, if you will, that says, I neither have nor want. And that space is called contentment. If you need more fuel to do that, if that sounds ridiculous to you, then just think about the analogy we started with about a car. You think to yourself, wow, that's an exotic car. It costs $9,000 a month, $9,000 every 6 months, like an Alfa Romeo or Ferrari or Bugatti to own, much less insure. So the idea of parking it and keeping it somewhere, keeping it locked up, keeping somebody to take care of it, keeping a special garage for it, only driving it when the weather's nice and ideal driving conditions outside. The idea is ridiculous. Well, now if I think of that, I don't want it as much, but I still kind of want it. I don't want a fast car, but let's assume I did. Now, if I go back to wanting it, I look at the cherry red color, I look at how rare it is, and how everybody that sees it will think of me as a status symbol. Okay, now I want it again. Well, both are true. So there comes a time when I say, in a little place in my mind where I say, why can't I be in the middle? Why can't I be content with this Nissan Frontier here that has been really good and has nearly 100,000 miles now without problems? And why can't I say I like it? I like the body style. I like the way the steering wheel vinyl rubbery feeling is here. Why can't that be good enough? So understanding the two extremes creates a safe space, if you will, of contentment. It creates the annulment of craving. We can take any other example, but you kind of have the point. No matter what we use, a woman, a car, food, sex, or drugs, or any other thing you can cling to, there's that middle ground. The Buddha referred to it as the middle way. Behold, I bring you the middle way, the middle path that says I don't not want and I don't want. I'm right here in the middle. Doesn't mean you're averse to anything. You don't say, for instance, I'm going to sleep on a bed of nails because I don't like comfort. I'm going to never eat because I don't want to get fat. No, you're going to say, I'm going to eat once. I'm going to sleep on whatever bed my expenses afford me. And you're going to look choicefully at all of the negatives that we pointed out with something. Buying an expensive bed. It's like that with these beds. All of these crazy people are doing these bed things where they say if you buy this sort of Tempur-Pedic sleep system, deluxe galore Model 5, it's going to stay flexible and the foam will always bounce back and it's a cool sleep. Well, that's dumb because it's not going to be for long. You're going to get it and a year later it's going to have a dent in it. I don't care how much money you spend on a mattress. It's just that way. And yet they get on the internet and put these ads on. They say, if you buy this bed, if you'll spend $5,000 for a mattress, it'll be perfect. And then you go and you read the 1-star reviews, which they carefully try to cover up. And what does it say? There's still people saying it didn't last. And I'm not that heavy. There's no way around it, folks. Craving is a bad deal. And once you add up all of the negative reviews, the positive reviews, you're right back in the middle path. Why not be thankful for a car? Why not be thankful for a husband or wife? Why not be thankful for a meal? Why not go all out in being right in the middle? Not having a house too nice or not having a house too shabby. Why can't it be good enough to have just what you've been handed down? So if you can create that safe space, which admittedly it requires a lot of reflecting, which is what we're doing this morning. It requires a lot of this sort of thing in your mind to go over and over and say, hey, where are we? Why do I want this? Be honest with yourself. And you'll admit when you do these thought exercises, you can create this safe space in your mind. And as you do that, you start to say, I don't desire this much at all. Keep in mind, no one is saying you should be dishonest with yourself and say, well, I don't desire that. If you desire it, you desire it. Be honest about it. Say, I shouldn't want this plate of food, but I do. This extra plate of food, this chips or Pringles or, Reese's Butterfingers or Reese's Buttercups or whatever it is. But again, be able to visualize that you can have and not have at the same time. You can have by creating the space between the two. I can eat what I want, but I'm only going to eat once. I can drive what I want, but I'm only going to drive. I only need to think about it so long. And the mental bandwidth, at the conclusion of the matter, the mental bandwidth that you get back from not having to think about this, from getting rid of this and being able to absolve yourself of this, is itself the contentment you're looking for. It's really powerful when you think about it. Pretty soon you start detaching. You detach from the fact that your significant other may die and you'd be heartbroken. That's clinging. If you're not clinging, you can love someone without clinging. You're outcome non-dependent. And if you want to be happy, what you have to do, according to the oh-so-wise Buddha, is not be outcome dependent. Well, the food was there, I had to eat it. The drugs were there, the temptation was there. The temptation was created by your lack of perspective. Your lack of burning into you the middle path. The understanding that creates the middle path. That's why you suffer. That's why you get tempted. That's why you feel like anytime someone brings extra food, you have to eat it. You don't. It can sit there. It can go in the trash. Anything can happen. There'll be more food. If there's one thing that's true in our society today, there will be more food. There will be more sweet drinks. There will be more water. There will be more grandma's tamales. There will be more cars. There will certainly be more cell phones. There's 180, according to a statistic I saw the other day, there's 118 billion, way more than there are people on Earth, 185 some odd billion cell phones. That's a crazy lot of material ore mined from the Earth and put into microchips and body and glass. It's a lot of material. The middle path is created in the safe space of your mind by understanding the want and the not want, by considering the haves and the have-nots. And pretty soon, when you go back and forth through the extremes, you realize the middle path is the only way to contentment. It's just a matter of grinding it into your thinking so that that becomes what you manifest, what you bring. Everywhere you look, folks, nothing is really desirable. Maybe for a few moments it is. But once you go to that safe space, you start to realize how unnecessary all of the excesses of life are. Y'all have a good day.